Hey everybody, just kind of wanted to give you some guidance for exam 4. And again, this is something I always did for my face-to-face on campus classes. We would spend some time talking about preparation for the exam. So I just wanted to make sure that there's a couple things that you're focusing on while you're getting ready. When we talk about liability, there's a couple things we need to know. First, we need to know different types of liability. So fiduciary liability, employee benefits liability, employment practices liability, directors and officers liability, professional liability. What are all those, and can you recognize them when they're described? That kind of stuff makes really good multiple choice questions. So yeah, exam 4, let me back up. First thing that's going to happen is we've got some short answer questions. I like to put those towards the front in case there is a time problem. Then at least you've got the most valuable questions showing up first. But I really don't think there ought to be a time problem. I've often given this exam in 75 minutes. I made the time limit 120. That's what you'd have in a normal final exam. But we start with, I think there's 7 short answer questions, 9 points each. They're all equally weighted. And then we move to multiple choice, and there's, I think, 14 of those at 3 points apiece. So to go back, what does it cover? Wanted different types of liability insurance. That's a couple of questions like that. Umbrellas in particular, know how an umbrella policy works. So what does the term following form mean? What does drop down mean? When do you have to pay the self-insured retention? How does the umbrella work with the underlying coverage? Those are the things that you really want to be focused on. These touch on, there's probably 6 or 7 different questions that actually one way or another touch on umbrella liability. For the farm policy, you need to know the coverages and recognize what's covered where. Surety business, the bid bond, the performance bond, the maintenance bond. What does the insurance company, when they're operating in the surety business, what is it that they expect for losses? How's that different from what they expect in commercial property losses? That's something you'd want to know. Who qualifies for a business owner's policy, the BOP? What's special about that? Remember, that was our policy that's standardized for certain types of businesses. What characteristics do those businesses have? Who would be eligible for that type of policy? When we get to the liability risk control and the property risk control, there's only a few questions there. So I tried to focus it on the materials that you'd have most available. But there are a couple questions about fire risk control and liability risk control, very broad-based things. Other than that, I guess one other thing I'd tell you on the multiple choice, there's a fair amount of A, B, both, and neither. You've seen that before. That's just basically true, false, but you're doubling up. So you got to know 2 things to get that particular question correct. You've seen that before. That's nothing new, but there's probably, of the 14 multiple choice questions, there might be 5 that are like that, just so you're ready. I think that's a pretty good overview to tell you where you should be focusing your time. Yeah, if you have questions, let me know. I'll do the best I can to answer them. And good luck. Let's finish strong here. Thanks, you guys.